Hello and welcome. This is Diana, and you are watching Holistic Vibes. This is going to be a generalized reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest, right? I think that it's kind of just going to be like a tap into what you need to know, what you need to see, what you need to be aware of. Um, it says friend, lustful, and I've got lovers at the bottom of the deck. Okay, I guess this is going to be a love reading. It says the walls we built have crumbled. Everyone knows too much. We need to rebuild trust before we can move forward. And finances can be upside down. It says want to be prepared for the future, but not be caught off guard by unexpected events. I need to make sure that we are ready for anything that comes our way, right? And that can very well be a insecurity in like today's environment, is the not having enough when shit hits the fan, right? I can relate to that because like literally everything that could happen with my car happened to my car. It happens. It's like it's part of the process. But definitely it could be. Or maybe this is something that you're kind of speaking into existence, like the type of lover you want, or the environment you want, or like the how you want to move in your day to day. The understanding of like that rebirthing cycle, like the messages that you're putting out into the universe doesn't match your Akashic records. Are you in full alignment of like moving past your insecurities of being in defense mode, right? It's kind of like there is a clear shift, right, of the identification of your vibrational frequency and what paradigm or timeline you're operating out of. And it's through the moving forward or through the identification and saying, oh, where in my vibration is having me be in X energy, right? And whatever that may be for you. And it's like as you're kind of honoring what you've been exposed to or how you've been moving in your day to day, it's unfolding. Yeah, there's some kind of a blessing that's going to come forward. Um, After you kind of honor like the where you're at in your own journey, which I mean, aren't we always like kind of honoring our own journey or like the vibration of where we're at? Um, but it's kind of like this reflective period of when you, well, do you, is that the right deck? I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if this is the right deck. Go ahead and tell me, I guess, what was being overcome or why did I need to grab this deck? Something having to do with the time or someone staying in a lustful vibration, not being able to see outside of the clouds. Something with breaking through the mud, having everything revealed. It's almost like somebody kept up a barrier or an impediment of a situation and didn't honor or nurture like a contract, and so there was a loss of what could have been, right? Like maybe you're running for escapism or you're in technology kind of burying your head, not necessarily preparing for the future, right? And it's honoring through like, okay, where have I consented to what I believed was truly divine unconditional love. And maybe you're doing that due to the planets being in Aquarius, right? Getting through in a state of contemplation and gratitude of like, what is it that's going to bring you joy? What is it that's going to bring you peace? What is it that's going to bring you alignment? Like, how are you like moving within your reality is what they just said. And there's just like, there's a form of like gratitude and honoring of like whatever is your, they also said it's identifying and seeing what is a forced reality, like who's benefiting from like the breakdown of the nuclear family. Again, if we were in like war times, if we were in like a population depletion, right? But we're really not. And that's part of the reason why back in the day they used to over procreate. Is because like 1 in 5 kids would die. That's not the case now. Our environment is just killing us, right? And so an encounter with an Aries could have felt like a robbery, right? A spiritual robbery, or an impediment of like forwarding progress, or there can be a push through working or through a business of creation. There's something in gratitude, even though like spiritually you may have felt defeated or you may have been up against a toxic energy, right? And you very well could be operating in a form of where you're meeting somebody who is going to have a very grounded energy at your work. It's kind of going to be like you're going to instantaneously feel like you are aligned with this person. Because there's a form of like openness, warm-heartedness, and there's like this um there's like this alignment, right? And it's gonna feel really, at first it's gonna feel like a gut punch. It's almost like um I've seen that before. I've done that before. It's kind of like a recap of the coulda, woulda, shouldas. Um I don't know, that's kind of what I'm getting is like when you see this person, it's gonna be like a whoa. It's gonna kind of like take you back. It may even put you in a state of where you're uneasy, or like it's going to like kind of shift your reality where there's going to be an honoring of like the things that didn't pan out or the things that took you out of a state of empowerment. It's literally like you're going to be stepping more into the vibrational frequency of what does it mean to be a good partner, and does this person hold those traits? And if the answer is no, you have no problem letting it go, right? It's whether or not you're out of a state of lustfulness, and is there a magnetic connection, right? It may be so interesting to where like if your person like touches your skin, like they're going to comment about like how soft your skin is, right? There could be like this like kinetic energy, or when you like go to kiss somebody, like your energy will have already kissed them. There's that's kind of what they're giving me. It's kind of like there's like this mm, it's like instantaneously like your energy is going to feel like it's amplified. And maybe there is a desire for an unconventional life, right? But regardless, it's like you have to do what is best for you, right? And God is going to divinely like lay it on your heart what is acceptable for you, right? Because if you're, I'll tell you this much, is what I know is when somebody is looking outside of a one-on-one relationship, it means that they don't know how to fulfill their own needs. They don't know how to communicate accordingly to get their needs met. And because at a certain point, it's like, if it doesn't work, then you just say, fuck it, and you go. And you just say, whatever, it is what it is. This ran its course. It was a season, a reason, or it's a lifetime. And it's like, if you are settling for something other, you have to ask yourself, what within you is not being met, right? What aspect of you do you have to reframe or refrain the desire of what you want, right? And what does it say in your records? What were your lessons? What lessons? Here's the thing. So many of you don't even realize like that you have lessons on your pathway that don't even belong to you, right? And it's honoring that deep dive into the understandings of like the different pathways we take and how we get there, and then what the purpose of it all is, right? It's through a state of gratitude and reflection that really is going to bring you into that state of being where you feel victorious over your environment. And you've got to get your endorphins moving, even if your body hurts, right? You got to get your lymphatic system to get rid of like whatever excess points you're holding on to. It's hard times, right? There's challenging energies that are trying to impede or trying to take over of. And it's almost like a cat and mouse game. And you could be quite weary of it, right? It gets very, very old and annoying when energies are continually trying to impede your forward progress or your forward like timeline. And so it's like, for those of you that are just spiritual gangsters, right? Like, you guys have been to hell and back. Like, you've picked traumas and dramas and you've done everything twice. And it's like in this reflection point, because we literally only have, I think, like a week left. So you should be deep diving on this stuff. Is like, what are the things that like you desired that never came to be? How do you honor that journey and say like, peace be with you? Like, thanks for showing up. I learned my lesson, whatever it needs to be for you, right? So you're stepping into that like unconditional divine love where you're no longer like holding on to those cords of attachment. You're instead releasing with peace, right? And through the frequency shift, like, that's going to propel you into a new timeline. And it's like honor through the process, honor through like what you've had to explore up to this point and what's been going on. And sometimes like progress doesn't feel like progress. Sometimes like you don't realize like that the delay was for a reason, and it's a reason, a season, right? And if it's a lifetime, like, then you literally have to cut cords and allow yourself to say, whatever is for my highest and best good, so mo be, allow it to come in. Because if it's not this, it's got to be something even better. And I'm going to get out of the way I'm creating, and I'm going to ask God to like show me like the possibilities, right? You could be seeing 64, 23, 19, 52, 32, 11, 777, 717, 711, 1133, and 1717. Words of advice, like one thing that they should be keeping an eye out or need to know as you proceed forward. Yeah, there's something with that Taurus in the career. You quite possibly could be relocating. Let go of the victimhood mentality. I mean, shit happens. Like, it sucks, but it's like sometimes, like, I have a friend who moved, like, looked for a job for like 2 months, right? I didn't even have like a flux of like time. But nothing was hitting. And then there was this push of like, hey, why don't you try up here? And they ended up moving to a totally different town, and like the vibe is exactly what they want. No games, no impediments, no like crap. It's literally stepping into divine purpose and flow and out of a state of like laziness and impediments and lack of freedom and lack of flow and lack of alignment. And it's like letting yourself step into somebody's getting the opportunity to step into a flow of following impulse, right? Allowing oneself to align with, okay, where do I feel like playing today, right? Like through your emotional awareness, your EQ, you are going to be stepping towards a form of compassion, through yourself and through the world. Remember, if you are like angry or you have bursts of anger, like you have to, number one, identify, is it attached to something outside of me? If it's you, maybe you check your blood pressure, because like that can throw you off kilter, right? Hormones. But like if you're doing meditations, if you're in your own state of peace, if you're in a place of like alignment and ease and flow, it's like it's then putting you into a state of liquidity, like where you are you're not rooted, right? You're able to just flow where the wind takes you. And it's really like allowing yourself to ask for signs. And it's really interesting. It came through meditation this morning, is like, how good can it get if you've only compared as good as it can get to what other people have showed you they've created, right? What if your dreams and your desires and what God has in store for you is actually even bigger than what any of them could fathom? And so it's like honoring the journey of like, you don't know what you don't know. And until you are in a state of alignment, where you're in a state of peace, where you are letting the creator just open the doorways and pathways that are truly meant for you, like then you can be rooted and still be in a fluid motion, right? You can be that of all things. And it's like through the courage to like kind of explore or understand, it's going to become more apparent and more aligned, right? Yeah. So trust, all is well. Allow yourself that time and that space to be with the creator and ask to be shown, right? Allow that doorway to be opened in your process as you proceed forward. Again, it's all about the way that you're framing the what's happening, the immersion of the energy. You're actively, and I'm telling you, like something, if you do like a marker, or you do like say, all of a sudden your shoulder is stiff, and your shoulder was good like last week, but something shifted. Like, what's your food look like, right? Have you changed things? Have you added things? What have you pushed into your reality? Are you going out? Are you working out more? What's happening with that shoulder? Did you sleep funny? Was there a thought that replayed? Like, you have to go through these key indicators to like figure out like where is your identification of where you're in a lower paradigm. And then you have to go through and say, okay, I've got to do my breath work. I've got to walk. I've got to get into nature. I have to slow down my breath. I have to shift my awareness so that way I can bring in more of what I want more of, right? And less of what I want. And so it's by you shifting those frequencies, it's going to help you get ready to like what is coming in. I'm going to leave that there. If something resonates, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. If you'd like a healing or a reading, my website is Holistic Vibes. And again, that link is below. Until next time, be well. Ciao.